What up? What up? What up? What up? What's up, my good people? Welcome to another episode of Black Bridges, where we try to bridge the gap between Africans in and outside of the diaspora. And while we doing it, have some dope discussions and a little bit of fun. Today I'm gonna be bringing a review video where I'm reviewing something I saw on YouTube earlier this week that had to do with the Lapeef Network and their breakdown of a statement made by Brother Rizza Islam. For those of you who don't know who Rizza Islam is, he's I believe, an activist who comes out of the Nation of Islam, and he speaks on behalf of Black people in the realm of attacking or destroying, white supremacy. If you're not familiar with the Lapeef Network, the Lapeef Network is pretty much a YouTube network in which people get together on a panel and have discussions about whatever the subject may be for that day. And we're going to be looking at a video that they made. I'm not sure when they made it. I know I saw it pretty much this week. And we're going to review and we're going to get my pretty much my opinions on what I think about that video and what they were discussing. So without further ado, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna stop it every once in a while. Maybe I'll stop it. I might not stop it, but I'll stop it every once in a while to give my feedback on what I think is being said, or my opinion on what is being said during the video. So without further ado, let's get this video started.
On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Moves. Anybody want to challenge me on that?
Eggs don't do shit, but sit there.
That's a fact.
See, this is why you cannot negotiate with terrorists. What did I say that was wrong?
Hold on, eggs. Look at the eggs. Why the eggs blanking out? Like, where y'all at? Y'all don't be doing shit. Y'all just sit there, look crazy until we come find y'all asses.
What do you mean by eggs? I probably got to rewind. Hold on. This is probably just a snippet. Let me see if this is.
We fight to look for
fuck to be
Men.
Controlling algae in your pond, waterfall, or fountain can be difficult and time-consuming. With Aquascape EcoBlast Granular Algicide, it is easy to quickly eliminate algae growth.
No, he didn't.
He said great men. He said great men and women.
Play it again. JR, play it again.
All right, this is the beginning. Let's start from here.
Like, but also make sure you scratch the channel. And as I was saying, we're doing something a little different. So we're going to go ahead and get into the meat right now, and then we're going to have the dessert. We're going to get into the meat right now because we know the ladies like the meat. The ladies like the meat. Bruh. With that being said, since we get to the meat a little bit early, we'll go ahead and play this clip.
The world is in the condition that it is in because of the disrespect of the woman. There's so much that we place around her because, as we are also taught, that when you teach a man, you are teaching an individual. When you teach a woman, you are teaching a nation. Every prophet came from the womb of a woman. Every intelligent, strong, powerful man and woman came from the womb of a woman. So that's why they have to attack mother and remove father, because before you can get to her, you have to get through him. Every wise nation has security, and the man is supposed to be that security because of her value, because a whole nation comes out of her. So you must be protected. And the man having that essential position by nature. So someone who knows that about you will do their best to make sure you are removed, because there is a standard of conditioning that has to take place. Man, woman, child. If I want to get to that, I have to remove your protector because he is watching. to make sure that everything that goes on in this environment is safe and secure. That's why they have to attack masculinity, because they know, damn, if there's real men around here, we can't really do what we want to do. And if there are real women, we for damn sure can't do what we want to do, because she's going to protect that child, he's going to protect that woman, and they both are going to protect society.
Who was that?
Rizza.
That was that. Now let me first of all let me say that was a very how should I say this a very precise breakdown by the brother who was just speaking there. And if those of you who don't know, that is Brother Rizza Islam of the Nation of Islam. And as you can see, somebody's asking who's that, and I'll get to. And it was the dude who was yelling earlier, so I'll get to that. But my thoughts on pretty much what Brother Rizza Islam is saying is I pretty much agree. A lot of people have the ideology or the mindset that the most unprotected people in the black community is black women, but for me, I don't view it as that way. I view it as black children. The reason why I view it as black children is because the women are protected by men, but the children are protected by the women. And if the women don't have the protection of men, they can't fully, thoroughly protect the children. Their protection over the children is backed by the man's protection over them. So that really leaves black children out there to fend for themselves, both physically, emotionally, and psychologically. So really the most unprotected class is not even the black women, it's black children. Because black children can't defend themselves. They're children. So that pretty much it pretty much validated that thought process for me. Everything else he was saying, now this is the thing. This has been known for a while. The attack on the black male image is that for this very reason that he's putting out there. They can't get to the women if the men are watching. So you have to attack the image of the men in order to get the women to distrust them. If the women can develop distrust for their man and their ability to protect them, what's going to happen is the women are going to pretty much veer for themselves, and they're going to teach their children also to have a lack of respect for these men and the protection that these men, or the provision that these men are supposed to be providing. Not saying that they don't provide it. It's just a perception that they're not providing. So with that being said, you have to remove the man from the household in order to have access to the women and children. If you have access to the women, you have access to the children, because women are the transfers of culture. So if you have access to a woman and you're able to pretty much put a framework of thinking to your liking within her head, she's going to place that same framework of thinking into the heads of her children. This is Willie Lynch syndrome, pretty much. That was explained thoroughly in the Willie Lynch letter, and what he was accomplishing by doing the tactics in which he did, as far as finding the most outspoken male slave and doing what they did to him in front of the women and other slaves, so they can see and lose the respect of that male slave. So we have a history of understanding that this is not new. So what Brother Rizza Islam is saying is very true. It's ironic to me that he's saying it to a white man, because it's just funny to me, because we didn't place these systems on ourselves. We didn't place these circumstances on ourselves. We were placed in these circumstances, and these circumstances were pretty much placed on us. We didn't start these things. We didn't do any of these things. We didn't start the rift between black men and black women. That wasn't done by black people. You know what I'm saying? So it was funny to see him explain this to a white guy, and the white guy, he's taking it in as if this is new knowledge for him, and it probably is, because it probably is. I'm not going to take that from him. It probably is new knowledge for him. But the thing about it, for me, it's hard for me to have an understanding that this is new knowledge for you when your ancestors have put a plan in place that is still in place. You know what I'm saying? But it certainly is a possibility. He might not have lineage, American lineage, or a lineage that leads back to Britain or slavery or Irish slavery or whatever. He might not have that lineage that the guy that Brother Rizza is speaking to. So we he might be oblivious to what Brother Rizza Islam is saying and developing an understanding of what it is to be a black man in America and be black in America. Period.
Logic, stop playing, man. The
I
fuck?
don't know who is either. Who is that?
The fuck do you know who Rizza is?
I mean, I
What,
don't
you got a star? He a movie star?
Bruiser would not be doing no shaming on the platform, man. I mean,
Right.
he honestly probably didn't know who he was. And shout out to Patrick Perdue. He said that's corny at this point, JR. Notice how I put the meat emoji. I don't know if you guys can see it on the YouTube end, but I put the meat emoji down there. We get into the meat. It is what it is.
Can y'all break down who he is though? No lie. No.
I don't know. He must be a rapper because I guess everybody's supposed to know it.
I mean, does it matter? We've looked
The
at
Nation
clips,
of
we've
Islam.
looked at clips of nameless people and talked about it. Does it matter who he is?
It's a question.
That's a question. I'm just curious. I mean, we explain to everybody else that's a rapper
Ask
or
the question too.
Yeah.
Does it
or
matter?
porn star or
Does anybody know who he is? Because I don't know who he is.
Legitimate question.
I just
Does it
remember.
matter?
His
can
name is
someone please
Rizza
explain?
No, I
Islam.
don't. I'm sorry, I'm not as cultured.
As you can see, we got another commercial here. But while we dealing with that commercial, for those of you who don't know, that was Brother Rizza Islam, and what I'm about to say can be controversial to some people, but I really don't care about that. If like, because the thing about it, I've seen people speak on certain issues when it comes to black people, and it's not that you need to know who Brother Rizza Islam is. It's just the simple fact that if you don't know, it really doesn't matter. You're not discussing who it is. You know what I'm saying? It's the point he's making. Do you agree with it or do you not? Now the thing is, a lot of times when you see people like, who is that? It's almost like a precursor for me. You don't have to make this for you, but for me, it's almost like I already know what's not about to come out your mouth. Like, I already know your level of thinking. Like, and I'm not like, if you're familiar with Brother Rizza Islam, you know what he speaks about. If you follow him, you know what he speaks about, and you get along with what he speaks about. The thing about it, you have a lot of black people who don't know what it truly is to be black. You have a lot of black people who are not educated on people who could be their potential leaders to lead them out of white supremacist era or whatever the case may be. And because of that, I think it's hard to listen to some black people because it's like you can't have the necessary knowledge in order to lead people to a certain place because you don't listen to certain people. And there's certain people that you should know within our community that you don't know. And that and it kind of makes me question, what are you listening to? Because I came across Brother Rizza Islam within, I would say, last year. And from once I've heard his content, I've constantly, looked for his content to kind of pick this brother's brain and see, because some things I agree with and some things I don't. Most of the stuff I don't agree with probably because we have different spiritual backgrounds. Most of the stuff he says I agree with him. And the same thing with sometimes Miss Elijah can say things I can agree with, just like anybody upon this panel. Something like Miss Kayla.com. A lot of times she says stuff I disagree with, but sometimes she says stuff I do agree with, like what she just said. It doesn't matter who he is. There's been plenty of times y'all probably discussed somebody saying something we don't know he is. It probably was a random TikToker, and that's true. Like, it doesn't matter. Let's break down what exactly did he say.
Or
Does anybody know who he is? Because I don't know who he is. I just remember.
can someone please explain?
I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not as cultured as you guys.
His name is Rizza Islam. He's been speaking for like not so much religion as the most point, but just trying to move the needle of black progression. So he's been more like an activist from the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, he's from the Nation of Islam. So yeah.
All I heard was red fish, blue fish, one fish, two fish, knick-knack, paddywhack. I ain't hear none of
See, and this is what I'm talking about. It wasn't even Mr. Logic. It was this dude over here, Anton. Like, that's all you heard? You have a wife, and that's all you heard? But this is why, like, some people, you just can't speak for black people. And he probably doesn't speak for black people. He probably proudly speaks for himself. But this is the thing. If you speak for yourself, don't get on a platform and say bullshit like that. All you heard was one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Like, serious? Is that where we going? Because I think it's quite disrespectful for somebody who can potentially lead you into the next great era of your people. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Nothing he said was bullshit. Everything he said was absolute, how should I say, substance. It was something of substance. Maybe he has a reason he feel like it was one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. I mean, I would like for him to say that, but maybe he heard something that turned him off. I would like for him to say that, but don't just sit up there and disregard the entire statement that the man made that is actual substance because you might not like something he said. He might have started it off or ended it with. You know, that's what he's saying is one fish, two fish, because it's like, bro, you discussing a what's the name that's obviously plaguing our people, and you just like dismissed it like it's nothing. But let's continue.
Said, bro, that was. I mean, I heard him, but I ain't hear that.
He said some good.
Smelling fine.
No, he didn't,
you
bro.
gotta say stuff like that in order to be in one of those little motivational videos. You gotta say the little red fish, blue fish stuff. You know what I'm saying? You say
Man,
some
I'm about
real
to go
shit.
get my bow
You're not
tie
gonna
in a
be on
minute.
one of those motivational clips like that. You know what I'm saying?
Teach a woman, teach a nation.
I'm not really fond
Give a
of
quick
the
assessment because he said too much.
fond of the direction this is going in. You know, so let's keep it off the Nation of Islam. But he said, like we. Okay, go ahead, Elijah. Go ahead.
He said a lot, and it's too much to unpack. And for the most part, I would say I agree. But he got to be a YouTuber because you see he led with these pandering comments. Like every great black person comes out of a black womb, a black woman womb. So do every thug and nigga come out of a black woman womb too? So I really
He didn't say great. He didn't say
that.
What did he say?
You lost me with that one. What's the point? I don't understand the point. He didn't say every great. It's like you went there purposely to misinterpret what he said because you have a disdain for black women, and I can understand that. You have a disdain for black women, but don't have a disdain that much where you're not able to hear a message. What he said was not wrong. Yes, there are thugs that are born from black women, but we're not talking about that. We talking about the reasons you need to protect black women that are worth protecting. It's because every person that comes out of her is not only potentially a thug, but they also have the potential to be great. And Q probably doesn't understand it, and most people probably don't understand this. But yes, when you teach a woman, you teach a nation because women birth nations. You wouldn't be here without a woman. Yes, a man got her pregnant, but you wouldn't be here without her carrying you for 9 months, bruh. And this is not pandering. This is just a fact. He might have pandered a little bit by saying he started it off with the disrespect of the woman, because a lot of times these women are disrespecting themselves. So he might have pandered a little bit, but I understand the purpose he did it, and he didn't do it to where it was just like a blatant pander. He's talking to a very specific woman. And the reason why he's talking to that very specific woman because he wants to get a message to her. Now, you can't leave everybody out, so you got to make a general statement. And so he made a general statement about, why we need to worry about protecting our women, because they do teach a nation. Majority of the teachers in this country are women. They teach the nation. The reason why it's easy for them to get these positions, or why it's easy for them to go into these positions as teachers, is because women are natural transfers of culture. The way the child speaks, the way the child walks, and the way the child behaves is all vindictive of how the women raised them. This is why it is considered disrespectful when somebody walks up on you and asks you who raised you. They're not talking about your father, they're talking about your mother. Women are the transfers of culture. That's why they teach nations. This is why most African tribes are matriarchies. Because the women are the reason the culture of the African culture, the culture of the tribe lives on, because they teach it to their children. This is also why in the Willie Lynch letter, he decided to kill the men, brainwash the women. Because if you brainwash the women, she will brainwash her children for you. That is a transferring of slave culture. So yes, women teach the nation. It's not algebra. Men provide, women teach. It's their natural Western. Let's get back to the video.
Every great black man.
JR, maybe you need to replay it for the people who were not paying
because
attention.
gang members
No, don't replay it. Don't replay it.
He ain't trying to
Don't
hear
replay
it.
that.
Don't replay it. Don't replay it.
One at a time. I think
JR, why I can never finish without somebody interrupting me?
Brother, I got you. It's Gucci. Go ahead.
Michelle Steele urged the Supreme.
See, this is, you know what? I'm just give, because I think I've seen enough anyway. These damn commercials. Somebody. Sorry about that slight interruption. Obviously, commercials is going what's her name, and somebody's knocking at my door. I have to take care of that real quick. But back to the video. Let's get back to this video. Struggle streaming. One at a time.
Why, JR, why I can never finish without somebody interrupting me?
Brother, I got you. It's Gucci. Go ahead.
No, look, even that's not exactly what he said verbatim. That was his message. That every intelligent, all this, you know what I'm saying? He was giving kudos to the black woman for birthing these positive men. Wasn't that not what he meant?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the problem then? Now I'll say this: is he gonna give the same black woman the same accountability for birthing the niggas, the killers, the niggas on the corner rolling the dice at night? Man.
And this is why I say you can't have everybody speaking for black people, because that's not what he's talking about. We understand that those are out there, but that's not what he talk. That's not even a subject matter of the conversation he's having with dudes. Like, they're not talking about holding people accountable for anything. They're talking about the importance of pretty much respect in our community, and why people should respect, you know, the women and the man. And he's even talking about the roles of both. There was nothing about, like, I don't understand why. That's the problem I'm having. I don't understand why that was so important for him to get out. Like, okay, black women birth degenerates. White people do too, but nobody's focused. Like, you don't focus on white degenerates probably because you're not white, understandable, but nobody focus on white degeneracy. So why are you so focused on black degeneracy? Like, definitely in a subject that doesn't even warrant the focus on it. Like, nobody's talking about that. He's talking about the importance of protecting the woman and why it's important that you protect women. That ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking about right now, Logic. That's what you're not logical right now. That's I think you're speaking from a place of emotion because you don't like the fact that he gave black women credit for something, and that's a problem. Because black women, yeah, they got their deficiencies, but they also got good things about them. Like, just like anybody else. Like, you want and that's the hypocrisy with some men. You want black women to see the good in you, but you're not willing to see the good in some black women. You want black women to see that, you know, some men are good, but you can't see that some of them are good. Like, that's kind of hypocritical. And for this to be going this far, I mean, it's kind of crazy that, you know, you just took it that far. I just don't understand where it came from. And then you got other brothers agreeing with you. Like, I understand. Like, this is the thing. I understand that black women are pretty much unruly here in America, and there's a big stigma attached to them because of the way they behave. But at the same time, we can't sit up there and just paint everybody with a behavior brush, because behavior is different from person to person to person. You can generalize, and you can make certain audiences and laws based off generalizations of people, but you can't generalize people's behavior. You can't make a law based on generalized behavior. You can't do that. You can't say, oh, it's illegal for black people to do this because they're this way. You can't do that. That's when generalizations become a problem, because the generalization on black folks was, we are inherently evil because our skin is black. That's wrong. But a generalization on or generalization that they have to make law, like most let me find a good example. When they pass when they and this is it's honestly, I don't even agree with it, but when they passed the unisex bathroom law, they did not just pass the law without seeing if there was enough people in the general population that needed these bathrooms in neutral places. Because they figured out through surveys and through questioning and through research that there was enough people who need these bathrooms in certain places, they started placing them in certain places. Now, me personally, I don't think they did enough research, because I honestly think that there's not enough people for you to make a general census around that. As far as unisex bathrooms, there's not enough transgender people for you to say generally people feel unsafe, so we have to make unisex bathrooms. It's not enough people within that what's the name for you to do that. So that's why I think that one was kind of forced. But most of the time, when people are doing these the reason why they do these censuses is because they're trying to find a general sense of the population who can agree of what laws need to be passed. Like we can all come to the agreement that people in wheelchairs are a minority part of the community. However, they still need to be able to easily access certain areas. So law has been passed that you have to make it accessible for them. You make public transportation accessible for them. They can get inside and outside of their apartments because they have access to ramps that can get them in and outside of their apartment, definitely in New York City. So these audiences were placed because of a general census. So, and I'm saying this because I don't want people to get confused with certain general conversations that I have and think people are generalizing people's behavior. It's totally different, and that's where the problem with generalization comes from. When you start to generalize behavior and say, oh, all those people behave this way because of this. No, you can't do that. But you can create a general census of the way people think, and create law, or create a even music behind it. Like, you can create a general census of an experience that most people probably had, and create a song behind it that most people will probably relate to. But you can't do that with behavior, because nobody behaves the same. People might have certain behavior traits that are the same, but nobody applies them to the world the same. Nobody does that.
Is he gonna give? Is he gonna give the men a credit? Because if you want to be honest, the women birth these child, but these children come from men. We had this conversation before. The first sign of life in the goddamn reproduction process is through the man. Sperm is energy. Eggs is dormant. We already had this. So he was pandering, right?
No.
He started pandering.
No.
I think.
No, he wasn't pandering. The thing, and this is the problem. You think it's pandering, but the fact of the matter is, you catch more bees with honey than fucking glue or whatever else you're gonna use. It's like, you catch more bees with honey. That's what he's doing. He's using a tactic to help them be receptive to the message. It's not so much pandering. Pandering is saying they ain't doing nothing wrong. He's not speaking about their wrongdoing. He's not even speaking about men's wrongdoing. He's answering a question that he was asked about the importance of protecting women. Wasn't even black women, because it was women. So the pandering part, it's like, I understand that there's dudes out here who pander to women. To say this is an effort to do that is a bit of a reach. Definitely when there's a strong message in what he was saying. There's a very strong message in what he was saying. It's not wrong. You agree with the message, but you just disagree with the way he got it out. The way he got it out was a way it can be digested easily by anybody, and also it can be posted on any platform. He didn't encourage it, he's not using sensationalism. That's what happens when you're an intellectual. You don't need to use sensationalism in order to get people to listen to you. You don't have to use clickbait in order to get people to listen to you. You don't have to do any of that to get people to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like I'm not even gonna pretty much, because I think I pretty much got a consensus view on what this video is about. So I'm not even gonna keep listening, because I already know it's probably gonna be some small bull come out of somebody's mouth that just like just gonna throw me up a tree. But for the most part, I don't understand the emotion. Why there's so much emotion behind the beginning? What do you feel about the entire piece? Like the entire message, the exact message, not a part of the message, the exact message. If you agree with it, leave it at that. It should be no, oh, he's pandering. He's talking specifically to a group of people who he want to be receptive to the message. You're not gonna like you're not gonna sit up there and like, let's reverse the picture. If somebody said that about black men, like black men raised geniuses, black men, are you gonna sit up there and say, oh, black men raised thugs too? Because it was a black man who told his son to do what he did to the rapper out in Cali. Not justifying it. I don't even like it. But men have their transgressions and so do women. One of the problems is a lot of times when we point out women's transgressions, we're told we hate women. And that's why I believe the brother has a lot of hostility, because it's like when you constantly get that, every time you get an opportunity to hop on a woman's transgression, you probably will. The problem is that wasn't the opportunity to hop on female transgressions. It wasn't even up for grabs, if you ask me. It wasn't even up for grabs. But that's the video for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you have any comments, feedback, or concerns, hit me in the comment box, and I'll try to get you guys next time. Thank you.